All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of SHAREapy, the podcast. I'm here today with my friend Ayo. He and I have been spending some time, on and off for the last 3 months?
About 3 months.
About 3 months? About every other week.
Yep.
We end up talking.
Approximately.
And I just wanted to get some feedback on the time that we've shared. Obviously, as we are, doing research and developing, both application and platform and research and intake forms and all the things, sometimes the best feedback is like just real life feedback from what are the pros and cons, the benefits and opportunities for SHAREapy. So, Brother Ayo, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. I'm not sure what all you want me to say, but
tell me whatever you want to tell me.
Yeah, my name is Ayo Obajulua is my full name. Ayo for short. Mm-hmm. I live here in Chicago, on the south side, Hyde Park area. I am Nigerian by birth, hence the weird name.
Do you mind sharing what you do for a living?
I'm in tech.
Okay.
I am a software engineer by trade, and I do a bunch of other fun stuff, but
do you know what? Tell me some of the other fun stuff. You actually are becoming one of the most interesting men in the world to me. Yeah. I keep finding out things that you're into.
Yeah,
tell me a couple of those things.
I'll be doing a few things.
Yeah, for sure.
I play the drums, and we were talking about that a little bit today. I'm trying to get back into doing that a little more. I've done that most of my life. I box. I do some jiu-jitsu. I'm a big combat sports guy.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play soccer too. I still know how to. I just haven't done it in a while because my cardio is probably not where it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, you're good enough to be a boxing instructor apparently.
Yeah. So
something that you're thinking about doing. Yeah.
That's another thing that I've been considering.
Definitely the most interesting man in the world for sure. All right. So, one question that's not on here, not to throw a curveball at you, but sure. Why do you think, if in your words, in your own kind of, from your perspective, why did we start this? And like, what was your motivation behind? Because like I said, we have intentionally met every other week for about 3 months. We've met at restaurants. We've met here at my house the last few times.
Yeah. And
you keep showing up. Why?
Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, I think when I think back on how this whole thing started, we probably both had different motivations for why we decided to keep going.
Sure.
So I can speak on my motivation.
Sure.
We first met at Alpha. I might have seen you at the church before Alpha, but Alpha is where we officially met.
Yeah.
And when I came to Alpha looking for a specific thing. I was looking for somewhere where I could ask tough questions, number one. And number two, goal was to meet someone or people that I felt like I could connect with. Yeah. And especially people that I could connect with on spiritual things, that I could have conversations with, have deep conversations with.
For sure.
So I was actively kind of looking for that. So when I got to Alpha, the first goal was kind of like, I don't feel like I'm really getting this. So I just kind of pivoted to plan B. I was like, all right, at least I want to meet somebody here
sure.
that I can connect with,
totally.
Right? And so when I thought about the people that I met, that I felt like, oh man, this seems like someone that I could like have a conversation with.
Yeah.
You were one of the people that came to my mind. So I was like, oh man, I need to reach out to that guy.
Yeah.
And it took me a couple weeks to finally send out a text. I think you might have even met me afterwards and be like, hey,
it was kind of happenstance.
And I was like, you know what? I've been meaning to
that's exactly what happened.
To follow up with you.
So you were in week 1 and 2 of Alpha, and then decided that it wasn't for you.
And I was dropped out.
And I think I saw you towards the end of Alpha. So it's about 2 months later.
Yep.
It was after the 11:30. I know this for a fact because I thought this was very interesting when I first met you. It was after the 11:30 that it was one of the first times that worship had gone long. Maybe the first like 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
Where worship had gone long, and I was there to the very end because I'm always going to be there to the very end.
Right.
But then you were too.
Yeah.
And which I think hindsight, it was very interesting to me because, as you were questioning your faith, I was like, but he's in it for like the best part,
Right.
which is worship.
Yeah.
And you've always kind of had like a gravity towards worship, which we've talked about in our time. But I thought that was very interesting. And I was leaving out, and again, this is probably like service normally ends at 12:30. This is 1:15 probably p.m.
We've been in there for a minute.
Yeah, and I'm walking out, wiping my eyes or whatever it is, and you're there, and you're like, I've been meaning to talk to you.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, well, what about tomorrow?
Yeah.
Remember? I was like, what are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because that's just been something about the season. It's been like, why wait?
Yeah,
just
make it happen.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
And then we started meeting. First time we met was at Kaiser Tiger over on Randolph.
Yep.
And we were there for 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Our first time talking.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, this guy either we're gonna keep this up or I'm never gonna hear from this guy again. Because it was long. It was a long time. Yeah. And the conversation was like, it was wild. But it was awesome.
Yep.
And so I mean, I hadn't planned on this part, but I'll tell you quickly about something that in this exchange that I thought, and then God has done better than I could have thought, was, we are like, I think we both vibe on a very high intellectual level. Yeah, so there's a lot of logic, and I love being logical. And I love having faith, and I love how they're woven together for me. And I have just had an opportunity to communicate with you on that logic level so well, where we can have like highly intellectual conversations about something that doesn't make any sense, which is faith and which is God. Yeah. And so it has been mutually beneficial for us both, I think. But so I have definitely appreciated our time. I don't take it lightly that you come back every single time. Matter of fact, into our first question today, I was just vulnerably communicating. I know it's my turn to pay for dinner, but I just don't have the means to do that right now. And I had just shared yesterday on my YouTube that the kind of the story behind what that looked like, and just kind of interacting with God in the middle of the storm and the whole nine. But definitely, I think my prior nature would have been to kind of curl up in a hole and just, I don't have money to meet my obligation, and shame would have taken over, and I probably would have found some other reason to cancel, like, I just couldn't tonight, or whatever. And we didn't talk yesterday when we were supposed to talk yesterday. But we didn't talk yesterday, so I even had a little bit more of an opportunity to be like, oh, I'm sure you made plans or whatever. But I didn't. And instead, I sent you a message that was like, hey, man, I know it's my turn to pay for dinner. I can't afford it. I would still love to meet, though, because I'm just trying to do better about leaning in instead of running and hiding, right? Yeah. Just me personally in my growth and my development. And your kindness exceeded my expectations. Matter of fact, you were like, hey, I'll bring food for your kid too. And I'm not gonna lie, I got a little choked up when you sent that back, because I figured you were gonna be cool. I'll be honest with you. I thought I think that I had a confidence about our relationship going, so far.
It would have been weird if I was like, you know what? Yeah.
I guess. You're right.
You're right. Let's just not meet up today.
You're right. Let me know when you can pay for dinner.
When you figure this stuff out. Just
right. Exactly. Yep. No, but I knew that wasn't going to be your response. Yep. But your response exceeded what I could have anticipated stepping into that vulnerability. And you just kind of kindly was like, hey, I can bring food for Hannah too. Who you met for the first time yesterday. And cool. How did you feel about the fact that I was like, this is the app guy?
I didn't even know that was what you said.
Yeah. But I've told her about you. She's like known that we've met.
That's awesome.
She's known that that we're working together on some stuff. Anyways, my first question for you, sir, in
Yeah.
our SHAREapy the podcast,
Yeah.
is like, so what thoughts do you have, or did you have in that moment when I told you that vulnerable piece? And like, what were your thoughts in that moment? Because that's a lot to kind of hear, I think, too.
I'll say two things, maybe three, but probably two.
Okay.
First thing is kind of I've known for a while that one of my love languages is acts of service, right? So that's both the way that I like to be shown love and the way that I like to show love.
Yeah.
So whenever I find myself in an opportunity to be of service to someone, it's never my first reaction is never, oh, here we can go, right?
Sure.
Now I got to do this thing. I'm super eager. That's usually my first response.
Yeah.
Most of the time I end up having to like
pull back.
Like, okay.
Interesting.
Because again, when you're like that, you get burned very easily by those things.
Or people think it's weird.
Yeah,
too. That's another thing.
Extending.
Yeah.
And then it gets weird and you're like, oh dang, I probably should have like been a little more cautious with that. That was on me.
Got it.
So you learn to kind of gauge that. But my first inclination is usually, yeah, sure. What do you need? Can I do this?
Yeah.
Because people aren't. So the thing about that, so first part I was going to say is that's kind of part of my love language.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
Two, people are not very quick to show weakness, right?
Yeah.
And so when someone shows in a relationship, when I see your weakness, I take it as a different love, a different depth of friendship at that point. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like there's one depth of friendship where we're talking about cool things and we're vibing and everything's cool and gravy and oh man, I had this great, I went on this trip and I had a great time and you're posting on Instagram and everything's
surface
beautiful,
level.
right?
Yeah.
There's that level of friendship.
Yep.
And then there's a level of friendship where like, hey man, I'm going through this stuff.
Yeah.
And we've had those conversations where we've talked about stuff like, man, this was ugly and I went through it and I didn't like it at all.
Yeah,
we've had those conversations and that's another level of friendship.
Sure.
And that's got its own vulnerabilities too, because now you're sharing like these uncomfortable things.
Yeah. But the parts that you don't want to show everybody else.
You don't want to show everybody else.
Totally.
But then there's that deeper layer where you're like in a messy place. Yeah. Right? It's like your house is an absolute trash can. Yeah. And someone is coming over. Yeah. Or asks if they can come over and you have an option. You can like either start scrambling and figuring out a way to clean it up. Right. Or just be like, yeah, bro, we can't meet today.
Yeah, but my house is actually a trash can and you're sitting in it right now. So
this is stressful. This is not, anyways, we will talk about
Feels like it to me.
This
anyways.
is not a trash can. But when you
I know
reach
what you mean.
Point,
yeah, you like just see me in my mess, bro.
Where you're like, yeah, come on over,
bro.
Because one, it says something about you, but it also says more. The important part to me is it says more about what you think of me.
Sure.
When you can say, hey, my house is a total trash can, but come on over. Yeah. To me, it signals, oh, okay, he's calling me in. Yeah. Right? He's saying, come deeper.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, come deeper. Yeah. And it's up to me to respond to that. Right. Yeah. How I respond to that is going to determine how this relationship progresses.
Yeah, for sure.
I could kind of be like, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like wince and like, sure.
Yeah.
And it'll show.
Sure, exactly. Can't hide it.
And if that's what you want, if that's how you want the dynamic to be, that's fine. Because then I'm giving you a signal that I'm cool, but I'm not that cool.
Yeah.
Like let's keep it
sure.
Here. Like,
Sure.
Or if I'm like, I like where this is going, I want to go deeper, then I respond to you in light and kind and be like, yeah, dude, this is exactly what I want from this.
Sure, yeah.
You showing me this, I want to see this.
Yeah.
This makes me feel like if I were in the moment like this,
100%.
I can show you too.
100%.
And now this, there's a reciprocity there that,
Yeah.
So for, those are the two things that came to my mind when you sent that message. Again, when I get that message from someone that I'm close to, it's a thing of joy for me, right? Depending on let me be clear, depending on your track record, right?
Sure.
Because, and if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
there's also a piece in there that's like a rope, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's like you giving that friend some rope.
Yeah.
Because it is rope. It's like
Yeah.
they're asking you for something and you're extending. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
You're opening yourself for abuse, right?
Yeah, sure.
You're like, okay, I'll give you this rope.
Sure.
I've been here.
Sure.
I'm not going to tell you that I've been here and that I've been burnt, but you know what? I trust you.
Yeah.
I'll give you this rope.
Yeah.
It's your choice what you do with the rope. Now you can, oh, thank you for the rope. And you pull me down and I'm like, okay, thank you for showing me that.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Right?
That's great.
Right?
Yeah, that's great. It's true.
For showing me who you are.
Yeah.
It sucks that this is how I had to find out.
Yeah.
But
sounds like Hannah's trying to.
Okay. But yeah. So, anyways, those are my general thoughts on it. I just felt like, you know what? I like this. This is what I want from this relationship. I want depth.
Yeah.
I want meaning. I want something sincere.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And so I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
And just to hello, my love.
Hey, Anna. Hi.
We're actually recording an episode of SHAREapy the podcast.
Special
right
guest.
But did you eat, baby? Because he brought you food.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's right there on the counter. Yep.
so much.
You're welcome.
It's so good. You're gonna love it. Okay, so what's very interesting is what's happening on the other end. And first of all, thank you for your answer.
Yeah.
That is incredible, and I could not have anticipated that. And I think that there's a beauty in not being able to anticipate that even being your answer. Because in my mind, on the flip side, I'm feeling shame. I'm feeling inadequacy. I'm feeling having a hard conversation with even my kid the day before about like this situation that I'm in, meaning we're in, meaning, when everything kind of went haywire this past week, like it doesn't feel good to not be prepared for it, not be able to handle it, not be able to order groceries. You know what I'm saying? Like it's humiliating. Yeah. But I told you that I've kind of been in this weird like place of peace. I feel bad that my landlord is hung up right now in my faithfulness, but that's what it is. Yeah. And I have heard so many things that are telling me that I'm on the right track, but when it comes to stuff like that, it's like this is a relational thing, and I could only imagine judgment on the other side, if I'm being honest. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a successful dude. You're in way better shape than I am. You get to use both of your legs. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things though that like, man, that like you
forgot better looking there, but it's fine.
Better. Well, I don't think that. So, I can't lie on the first podcast. But there's these things that are like, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like there are things that like you just tangibly have that I don't have right now. And I'm just being honest, right? And now I'm like, I can't even afford. And I've been good about holding my turn. Bro, oh my gosh, bro. The first day that I picked up the bill, I just remembered this. And I was like, one day this is going to be a good story. Guess what? It's now. The first day I paid the bill, I walked home because I had $15 left in my account. It's not your fault, but or anything like that. But like I was expecting us to go Dutch, and I was like, hey, I got my $40. And then I was like, and then you had to go because and I was like, no, I got you.
Damn.
And I was like, it's gonna clear, right? And I walked home because I had $15 and I couldn't afford the Uber. But I was like, it's gonna be a great story one day. Yeah. Anyways,
wow.
Point is, I've been like, I've been able to meet at least the dinner part, you know what I'm saying, of our deal, go back and forth. Yeah. So now I'm not going to be able to meet that part. And I'm like, oh gosh. And then I don't want to say that. Yeah. And then if I say that really what just.
What does that look like? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I know, bro, I know that there's some things that I do well, or I got kind of figured out right now. Yeah. And there's some things that you're right, bro. I'm just a mess. Yeah. And it's very difficult right now. But I really appreciate that answer. I could not have anticipated that answer, but I'm so glad. This makes sense why I got the the urge to have this conversation, like in a scripted way where I was actually asking questions because I could never have imagined that answer to start it off. So I'll try to wrap it up, and I know it's getting late. But so the next question is, does it make you, I think you answered this already.
Yep.
Does it make you want to connect any more or less? AKA, does it make you lose any confidence in me? That was the next question, which you kind of answered.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. Like I answered, it's in my mind, I interpret it as a call to go deeper.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, do you want to grow this? Well, I guess it could be one of two things.
Yeah.
Right? It could be, do you want to grow this friendship and make it something deeper, or is this going to become a codependent relationship? It's going to be one of those two things.
Sure.
But I'm willing to take a
how
chance.
how does that mean codependent?
So in other words, in my experience in the past,
Sure.
right, when I've been asked for things, when someone's like, hey, can you help me with this?
Yeah.
Usually on the first interaction, I'm like, for sure. Because again, depending on what I want from the relationship, I usually will want that depth.
Sure.
Unless I just know you already know things about you that make me feel like, I probably shouldn't go there with this person.
Yeah.
Right. But if it's a relationship that I want depth out of anyway, I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
But in the past, what has happened with that more times than I hate to admit, is that I've fallen into times when people take advantage of that. It's like, oh, okay, I asked for this, he gave.
So it's easy
now
to ask
I know,
again.
right? So I'm just this is gonna become a thing where I'm just gonna be like, oh man, I really need this thing. I can't do it, but I really wish. And then now I'm stuck in this cycle where it's like, oh, I didn't know that was what this was gonna be.
Got it.
Right. So that's why I was like, it's gonna be one of those two things. But either way, because you can't. It's a risk you run. Right.
Yeah.
It's either it's gonna end up in depth,
for sure,
or it's gonna end up being that. Either way, you usually can't tell beforehand what it's gonna be, but you just gotta. Either you're going to go and see, or you're going to say, all right, I'm not going, and you never find out.
That's good. And that's, I hear you, a bit of wisdom there with having gone through the situation or having gone through a relationship where, a codependency develops, and kind of the wisdom to identify where it could start to turn.
Yeah.
And that makes me appreciate your answer even more. That makes me appreciate the gesture even more. And like I said, the thing that took it past even like the need of us and sharing dinner to get this time, because I was so focused on still having this time. Yeah. And I think that speaks to this time for me, because it's like I wanted to make, I just want this so bad. And I know that as shitty as I feel today, I'll feel better after I talk to him. Yeah. And that's one thing that I'm noticing with SHAREapy is that with Diana, and we always talk about, doesn't matter how much or how sideways or how sad or, our week has been, we just know we're going to feel better after it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that I knew that I needed that tonight. And so like, I hope that you hear me say that this is, when I say mutual, it's like, I know that this kind of started in a place where it's like you kind of wrestling with faith stuff and me wanting to at least hold space for that wrestling. Yeah. And, but it is very much mutually beneficial. That's and awesome. Matter of fact, kind of according to the model of SHAREapy, is that it strips. Therapy is power dynamic power lies with the therapist, and they have a kind of a mitigated, a guarded interaction with someone to allow their stuff to kind of flood into the conversation. Yeah. I think before we started this like podcast part, I talked for the majority of the night. You know what I'm saying? Like just with stuff that I had going on or whatever it is. But you can never do that if I was a therapist, right? And that's what SHAREapy is there's healing in both sides of the story.
Sharing together,
Exactly. Sharing together. And so, okay, cool. So thank you so much for that. I hope you hear how much I appreciate you in this space. Okay, so do you mind reflecting on SHAREapy, or like our time in SHAREapy? Yeah. Is there anything else that we can improve, or is there anything that we could recommend for other people kind of looking to connect in like an intentional way like this?
That
I'll read
one
the
is-
question again.
No, I
Okay, got it,
understand the question. It's just one of those questions that definitely requires some, I feel like for me anyway, some deeper thought.
Yeah.
But on a surface level,
Yeah.
the first thing that comes to mind is it possible to have this is a double-edged sword, but have like time constraints, right?
Sure. Sure.
Now I say it's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, I like having the freedom to just like hang, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't, there's a certain freedom when I know, okay, oh, this ends then it feels like a therapy session. Like, okay,
Exactly.
9:00, we got to get out
Exactly.
here or whatever.
Yeah.
But when it feels kind of organic where we can just sit
Yeah.
and whatever time it's like, oh, I actually got to go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you leave, right?
Yep.
It feels so on the one hand, maybe for others,
Yeah.
maybe in certain situations,
Yeah.
maybe having like some type of approximate
Time.
approximate each time, like, okay, hey,
Hour and a half to 2 hours.
yeah, this
Make
is
some
the
space.
expectation, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna come here, we're gonna talk for this much time.
Yeah.
So that either one on both ends, for people that when they get together and they start chit-chatting, they lose track of time.
Sure. And then it's 2 hours later and it's done.
Right? Or on the other spectrum, for people that maybe get awkward with really long conversations but don't know how to bail.
Sure.
Right? It gives them that opportunity to, okay, this is dialed into 2 hours.
Set expectations for when it's over as well.
Yeah. So I think for that reason, it might be good to at least have some kind of time constraints.
Yeah.
At least loose time constraints around.
Sure. Sure.
That's one.
What about prompts? This is something that I'm kind of playing with or trying to understand. I kind of envision this as like a box of prompts, if you will. So it might be like, so in my mind, one of the sets of prompts that we're developing is some surface level questions, some next level questions, some deeper questions, and kind of work through like where are you at in your relationship?
Yeah.
Do you want to go some of those or subject matter, stuff like that you can use, basically resources that if you want them, they're there. And if you don't, who knows? Someone might just need chit chat for 2 hours.
Okay.
That might be the best blessing of their day.
Okay.
I
or
like something.
That. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so prompts for if you need it.
Sure.
Right? Like if it's just like, okay, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
Here's some ideas or some stuff just to get it flowing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Another weird idea, weird, but I don't know where to land, is like journaling and then sharing.
Okay.
Right? So after we meet, it feels like homework, to be honest, but I don't know.
We talk about the benefit of homework tonight.
Right.
Sometimes there's a benefit to it.
Sometimes there's benefit to it, right?
Yep.
And the idea being like, after you have this conversation, at some point during the week, assuming you're meeting maybe once a week, you're going back, you're kind of journaling based on some of the stuff you thought, or maybe not even about what you talked about, but just a journal that's attached to the SHAREapy session, where you're like, okay, this thing, when I come back to the conversation, I'm gonna read off something that I wrote.
Yeah,
out.
sure.
Because the intention of me writing it out is this is for us.
Yeah, to share in our space.
Right? Exactly, in our space. So it's something just kind of keeping track, because sometimes stuff will happen over the week.
Yeah, that's good.
You won't remember.
I love that.
So like, oh, okay, maybe I'll write some stuff down and I'll bring it. Oh yeah, this was something that was on my mind.
So I got to tell my app guy it would be dope to build inside the app for a relationship.
To take
like
some journals. Yeah,
absolutely.
I like
a shared journal space.
Yeah.
Something that only those two users have access to.
I like that. So yeah, oh man, I saw you wrote blah blah. What was that about?
Yeah. Time stamped. You can reference back to it.
Yeah.
Kind of shows a track record.
Yeah,
I love it.
That.
It's a great idea, app guy.
What else?
What do you think about the this is a side question, but what do you think about the rhythm? So our rhythm has been every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, basically.
And I feel like that feels good.
Yeah, it feels sustainable.
Yeah. It does feel sustainable.
Yeah.
That's another key one. Yeah. Does every week feel sustainable to other people? Now, especially not with the fact that ours starts at like 7 and we end up at like 10, 11 sometimes.
Yeah.
So that is kind of like, it's about 2 hours if we were to meet every 2 weeks or every week. But because we meet every 2 weeks, it's like manageable. Kinda.
Yeah, exactly. So there's some levers there that I think one could mess with, right?
Yeah.
If we meet every week, maybe then you do an hour every week. That way it doesn't feel like you're giving as much time each week.
Hour and a half.
An hour and a half. Sure. Because an hour goes really fast.
Super quick.
Yeah. So an hour and a half. Yeah. 2 weeks. To be honest, I like the 2 weeks just because also it gives you time for stuff to happen. Right? You go through your week, 2 weeks, stuff happens, you have more to report back with.
I've heard you say that actually before, and I mentally noted it, that you said around the end of the second week, you're kind of like, I got to go tell Joel this.
Exactly.
And that kind of, but that is really good for our rhythm. But on the flip side, as soon as I say that, I'm thinking about me and Diana. It's been every week. And it's
interesting.
And it's also, I think that there might be something to the
and you guys meet
period of life
every week?
No, on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, matter of fact, I've only seen her like twice in the last 2 years, probably.
Oh, wow.
And then over the last 6 years, as long as we've been doing this rhythm of every week, it's probably been, I've probably, only seen her 15 times in the last 6 years. But that rhythm works out really well for us. But we've also been in critical times, right? Between the loss of her husband over the last 2 years. And so the frequency needs to be a little bit more. Yeah. Because I don't want her going 2 weeks. I don't want to go 2 weeks without talking to her, you know what I'm saying? Checking in and make sure she's good, and vice versa. Yeah, okay. I'll show up a mess as much as she does sometimes. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's good. So basically what I'm also hearing is should be customizable based on but then committed to.
Yes. And
right?
That's
what's part. That how like right, how does that weigh in? And because I've always said intentionality is like the key to start that whole thing, the engine.
Yeah. Did you reach, I see you reaching for something.
No, I was just pulling things off the carpet.
That part to me is the most nebulous part.
Okay.
Like the most difficult part to navigate because it takes two. Right?
Yeah.
If it's one person constantly pulling, eventually you're gonna get tired because you're like, all right, it's always me asking, all right, you want to meet up this time?
That's right.
And the other person, sure. You know, it starts to feel weird. So there's got to be some type of why was that word tripping me up today?
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a way to like ensure that. That's what I'm looking for. I feel like there's just got to be some type of commitment, or both people have to have some kind of investment. Yeah. Right. Something that's going to make you like feel like, oh, I want to do this.
Right. I think without it fails.
Right.
100 times. 100% of the time. Yeah. Because it's the intentionality that sets the expectation. Look, and every 2 weeks, there's a person that is looking forward to talking to me, and I'm looking forward to talking to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's important. That's a really important part of it. Like those are the things that destroy loneliness and isolation.
Right.
Like when you're not there, they're like, "Where are you?"
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. When having that dedicated time and space, it's like out of all the things that I think that we've kind of stripped away and looked at as far as how to create a sustainable SHAREapy space with either people that know each other. Because remember, I told you that the shift kind of happened where it's like, this is something we want to take people in their relationship, whether it's a long-term relationship, short-term relationship, and be able to help resource them with deeper connection, more sustainable connection. Yeah. But the number one thing I keep running across is it's got to be intentional. Me and Diana, it was intentional. If I felt like crap and she felt like crap, we still showed up. If we didn't want to show up, we still showed up. And every single time we ended up feeling better on the other side.
Right.
And it's because there's something there. And the crazy part to me is that we do this, we make that intentionality for so many other things in the world except for people. Like, you go to jujitsu every day.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to intentionally not do it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so it's like, we go to our jobs. We go to church. Those are intentional things,
we
right?
make time for things we care about.
We make time for things we care about. It's just making people realize that we need to care about each other again. And that's kind of the hard thing. But no, I think that I think those are all good points. So when we do connect, when we have an opportunity to connect in this space, do you feel seen, heard, and understood? And expound on that a little bit, if you don't mind.
That's another part that I feel like is unique to this dynamic and this relationship, and is something that I'm pondering how that can be replicated, because this is what I mean. When we met, right? When I met you at Alpha, when I was at Alpha, I was meeting a bunch of people. I met you.
Yeah.
I met all the other people in our group.
Yeah.
Blah blah. I didn't when I was thinking, oh man, who can I connect with? That second goal, because the first goal was I want to have these conversations. Didn't really get that, but I'm like, okay, I want to connect with someone. I started thinking about the people that I met, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really think about anyone else. I thought about Brandon, but that was because because I don't know if I told you that I had met Brandon at my boxing gym.
He told me that, actually.
So I figured, oh, okay, that's a connection.
Sure.
At least I've known him somewhere else. He seems like a cool guy. I've heard him speak. I'm like, feels like a guy that I can connect with.
Yeah.
But then other than Brandon, it was you.
Yeah.
And there was really no one else that I can think of that. So if neither of you were there, I would have been like out of luck. Like, okay, well, I tried that. Didn't really work out, right?
Sure.
So I say that to say that the reason you came to my mind was because something stood out about you specifically. Okay. Right? It was like, oh man, I kind of feel like this is the way our interaction went. Yeah. I'm like, I feel like I could talk to this guy. Like, this guy seems like someone that I might be able to have some conversation with, and not in like it'll be productive. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think right there it's important to point out, when I first saw you at Alpha, there was like a little border thing, that little table thing wrapped around a pole, and it was really packed at certain tables. I think your table was packed, and there was there was no seats for you. And so you weren't even supposed to be in my group. And then you kind of you were standing at that pole, which was right next to where my table was. And I was like, man, come over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, come over here and sit down. And the only reason why I point that out, not to give myself props, but I think that hopefully it's to encourage someone listening to this, that I end up being the person that you wanted to talk to. Right. And I had an opportunity to miss. I had an opportunity to not connect at all with you. Not to be like, hey, come sit down, like be part of our. And then at the end of it, our conversation was so good. I was like, you're in my group now. Yeah. Okay, baby. Be safe. Did you eat some of the food? It's good, right?
No problem. See it.
No, I do appreciate that again.
Of course.
So I think that's just an important one. It's important to interject, right? Again, not to big me up, but like, I don't have a lot of those like things built in my brain for not talking to people. Right. And that's on purpose. Like I work on that. It does not come natural. It does not come easy. It's sometimes you gotta scan a room and be like, God, who do you want me to talk to? Right. Or you gotta see someone and be like, I'm thinking like, man, like if I couldn't fit at my table, it would be just nice to sit down. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so like just thinking outside of my group and just being present, right? And just kind of looking around and kind of seeing what's going on out there is important sometimes. So hopefully that's an encouragement to someone, because you might be the only person that person feels like they can connect with sometimes. Yeah. And but you do feel, at least in our time, you do feel seen and heard and understood. We haven't always agreed on everything either. It sounds like it, based on this conversation so far.
Yeah.
But we haven't always agreed on everything. Yeah. But do you at least feel like? And I think maybe the question I'm asking: does it feel safe?
It does feel safe. It feels more than anything. It feels authentic, which is important for me.
Yeah.
The last thing that I want to do is have Christian conversations. No offense.
Yeah, for real.
Right? No offense against Christian conversations. I know there's a time and place for that.
Yeah.
But when I say Christian conversations, what I mean is to just have these really kind of very Christianese, oh man, thank God. Wow. Just very surface level.
Yeah.
You're putting up a wall.
Yep.
You're just kind of saying things just to seem like everything's fine.
Yeah.
And you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And everything glory be to God. God forbid
something
is going wrong.
God's good and God's good and God
all the time.
All the time. God's good. Yeah, exactly,
right?
Bro.
Can't be seen, can't be caught lacking in the church.
Yeah.
So, but like I feel like I should say you led with vulnerability. And I think that's important. Leading with vulnerability, having that be like upfront, like, look, I'm just a weird dude.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah. I remember I don't know how many times I told you, but I'm not trying to convince you of nothing. Right. I'm not trying to convince you to believe like I believe or anything. I'm just here to like, hey, this is what I believe.
Right.
For sure. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to make you believe anything. Right. I'm not trying to like, that's going to be up to you and God to figure out. I'm here to wrestle like with it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And have those conversations.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think bringing that to the space is very, it could be depending on where each person is at in their faith.
Yeah.
It can be kind of a tough line to toe, especially when sometimes, and I say this because I've been in these situations in the past where like sometimes someone is saying something, you feel like, man, but if you just, right, you want to give them the answer.
Sure.
Like, but just like, this is not, but then.
Wait, say more on that point. I don't know that it was clear.
Yeah, so I'm trying to, let me see if I can find an example. Let's say that I'm having an issue with addiction, right?
Sure.
Right, and it's like, oh man, I just every time, I just can't stay away from the bottle. I'm always drinking. Yeah. And yesterday I was hanging out, with my buddies, and we ended up drinking, and I drank too much. And then the week before, I was out at this party, and I ended up drinking too much. I didn't want to. But then you're talking to me. You're seeing these patterns. So, okay, you're going to these parties. You're hanging out with these guys. You're doing, and the easy thing would just be like, but maybe you should just like cut back on these things. And it's like, there's a way to kind of come at that conversation without preaching at someone.
Totally.
And making them feel like, yo, like just stop doing the weird stuff that you're doing and you'll be fine. Right. And that's just an example, right?
Right.
That's
because that oversimplifies it. Yeah, that doesn't take their story into account.
Right. And it can look simple to you.
Sure. Right. It's always easy on the outside. Someone said something to me today and I was like, it's very easy to say that from that perspective. Yeah.
But just kind of taking a step back and allowing the person to just talk. Yeah. Like just, and there'll be a moment maybe to share something that'll help the person out or something, but avoiding just kind of wanting to jump in and being like, dude, just right, just do this.
Much less being like, well, the Bible says about addiction. Okay, conversation is over. This person's never going to talk to me about this again.
Do it
at all. But then also on the other side is to avoid over. I don't know what the term is, but when you're like, oh, I had the same problem with addiction. And what I did was, you know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. You might actually have had that problem. Yeah. And a way more effective way to do it sometimes is to walk with someone remembering the way you needed to be walked with.
Right.
Remembering like, I mean, I didn't I didn't, in my situation, over drinking specifically, which I've shared with you, was that from thinking back to like, what was it that I went through? What was I really feeling? What was kind of at the root of those things? Like really, instead of instantly jumping in, and it's something else I said earlier today, instead of listening to talk, listening to listen, and listening to hold space.
Yeah.
So what I hear is makes me feel good that you feel that you've been able to do that at least.
100%.
And I feel like I've been able to do that as well.
That's good.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about the fact that like I have felt safe in all of our topics.
I don't feel like I was judging you on anything.
No,
like, man,
not even being a broke bastard. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
crazy.
I'm just saying, like and that feels good, man. It feels like it does feel safe. It does feel authentic. It does feel like, I mean, I feel that I've been seen and heard and understood.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, man. Like, there's something else is that even outside of this space, yesterday, when we were talking today, you were like, we were talking about the guy that was at church that you just met, and in your mind you were like, I got to talk to Joel, and I was on the opposite side of the church from where I normally walk up that aisle. So in my mind, clearly you had to come to that side because you know where I normally am because I'm sitting in the same place all the time. But like it's just an effort to hang around and be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Good to see you. And what are you doing this week or whatever? Mm-hmm. Like that feels like being seen, because how many people are going to be like, oh, I got something else to do. I got somewhere else to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I talked to Jarrett and Jeannie and this person and that person. I did. You probably watched me.
I'll just text them later.
Yeah, right. I'll just text them later, right? Yeah. But no, like that is effort.
Yeah.
And that needs to be on the radar of SHAREapy too, is that effort is important.
Fair.
Which you said this earlier when we were talking, that what you put in, you'll get out.
Yeah.
And it's with everything. It's with our small groups and community at church. It's with our individual relationships and stuff like that. So and effort needs to.
And sorry, on the flip side of effort, I think is also grace, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say that to your credit. And what I mean about that is this: there's been days and weeks in between that I personally feel like I've been inconsistent, right? Mm-hmm. Where maybe I'm like, oh man, we're supposed to meet this Monday, but I got things going on and I just didn't communicate, right?
Yeah.
And maybe for like a whole week, there's no communication from me, but you'll reach out, be like, hey, what's up, man? I just wanted to check in. Are we going to meet?
Yeah.
And in that moment, right, there's grace. Because you could have felt like, man, this dude, we had something set up. Yeah. He could have texted, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So probably maybe he doesn't even want to do this. Maybe he's like feeling burdened by this now. And you could have, because of that, started pulling back like, oh, I don't even want to bother him or something like that. Or just even feeling a little offended, right? Like, man, like, he doesn't regard me in a certain way. And so
all the stories we tell ourselves,
right?
All the stories we tell ourselves.
But you chose like, you know what? What's up? What's going on? And when you reach out to me like that, I'm like, oh shoot. Even if in my mind before I was struggling with, man, because what happens sometimes too, right? I'm supposed to reach out to you today. I forget. So I'm like, oh shoot, I'll reach out to him tomorrow. Tomorrow I forget. And now it's 3 days. Now I'm like, oh dude, I have forgotten about this dude for 3 days. He's probably like fuming at me now.
The stories
and for that reason, you're like, I can't reach out the shame of like, dude, I've let him down now. He's probably like, doesn't even want to talk to me now. So you keep dragging it on. And if that person just breaks through all of that and just texts you like, hey, yo, what's up? You're so happy to just respond, hey, dude, man, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to snob you. I just had the blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And boom, you reconnect.
Boom, that's so it. Like nothing ever happened.
Exactly. So there's the two sides of that, right? Where's the intentionality, and then there's just a little bit of grace as well.
Totally. Because life happens, bro.
And life happens, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, look, okay, you had something that happen. You had to cancel. Fair.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen next week. It's fine.
Right. But then it's like, and to be honest with you, I think that in a relationship, it grows when life does happen.
Right.
and then you do double down on
Right.
making sure it happens the next
Yep.
time.
Yep.
That actually shows even more than if
More
you had
intentionality,
had met the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's like, and this happens with me and Diana a lot. We actually talk about that.
Yeah.
And one of the things I say alongside of intentionality is, if life's going to happen, like sometimes she has a doctor's appointment at 11 o'clock on Tuesdays. That's our time.
Yeah.
If you have a time, then we meet again. We intentionally make sure we meet again before our next scheduled time. That's how our accountability is set up.
Yeah.
So we'll meet on Friday if that's the next available time she has,
Yeah.
and then right again on Tuesday at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
But what that does is that communicates, you are important to me.
Yeah.
And this time is important. And I get it, life happens and life goes sideways. And I think that it's crazy. It's like you and I aren't at some point, like the rhythm or the season of our life is going to change.
Sure.
But because we have this connection, this intentionality that already established,
Right.
it's going to make it so much better when like, if you're going through something or I'm going through something, to be like, we've done the push and pull of rescheduling and life happening and doubling down on commitment to each other.
Yeah.
So it's going to be at least set up for better success when life happens.
Sure.
In a bigger way. It's like a season change later.
Sure.
I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Last question. I'll let you get out of here.
Sure.
Would you recommend this to others? And if so, what advice would you have for people looking to intentionally connect?
Oh man, yeah, I would absolutely recommend it for others. Okay, there's just to preface this with what I'm about to say. I've told you this. I'm a realist, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the realist side of me that was about to speak, and I was like, oh man, should I try to pivot to the optimist Ayo
Sure.
and speak optimism instead
Sure.
of like what I wanted to speak, which will sound more like pessimism
Okay.
to most people.
Sure.
But let me start with the optimistic.
Yeah.
And the optimistic is, yes, I absolutely recommend this. And I feel like the important thing is to try, right? And get into it and feel it out, right? It's going to be different strokes for different folks, I feel like.
Yep.
Because not everyone is gonna connect right away, especially, I mean, if two people are doing this and they already have an established relationship, it's easier.
Sure.
Because they already have something going.
Yep.
If not, then that might be a little more sticky.
Yeah.
So I think that at least it's worth like giving a try, right?
Yeah.
See how it works. Be ready to tweak things around.
Yep.
And one thing that I was gonna say that I was thinking as we were talking is maybe have some type of and this might be that pessimistic or realist side.
Yeah.
Having some sort of fail safe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not whatever. There's a word I'm thinking of. A latch that you want out.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But they make this low that's low stakes. It doesn't feel like, oh shoot, I'm bailing out of this whole thing and the world is gonna I'm going through a breakup, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't want it to be that intense.
Totally, yeah.
Right. But you also want an opportunity to be able to say, hey, either because like I'm just not in this place anymore and I need a moment. Maybe I need a break, even time out.
Yeah.
Like, just give me some time. I need to go figure some stuff out or whatever.
Yeah.
Some way to step back that's low
conflict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, low conflict, right? That's easy for someone to be able to like pull away and say, hey, just give me a second to either reorient or, you know what? On second thought, maybe I'm not sure I'm ready for this right now.
Yeah.
I think that might be fair as well. Just to, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. Just to kind of, in a way, give everyone an opportunity to get the most out of it and not make anyone feel like they get stuck, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to try this thing out. Now I'm stuck in these uncomfortable conversations with this person that I don't really want to talk to.
Yeah.
Right? About this.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, I just don't want to talk to them about these things.
What do you think is like a fair lean into your uncomfort or your discomfort trial period? It always has felt like about 8 weeks to me.
Yeah.
Like
2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More guided, of course, in the beginning. Remember, more of the resource. We're leaning more on the resources to make sure people aren't stuck, and to make sure that they have assistance with the conversation if that's what they needed. Again, this is much more difficult thinking from a complete stranger standpoint, but that's why strangers are kind of probably being pushed out to phase 2 or 3 or whatever that phase is. But the next phase, after we just really start to say, relationships that already exist, right? Because we don't need to think as much about the fail safe in that stage, because you guys have made it this far. This is probably just going to help, and this is going to be something that helps to, grease the wheels, get to know each other, get to know something about that person that you don't know or you haven't known. And that's where the intake, where that proprietary intake form and assessment of that person comes into play. So what do you think is, if at least because here's what the reason why I ask you that is because I feel like the world is so built on not making anyone uncomfortable that no one wants to be uncomfortable. And they almost feel violated if they're made uncomfortable. But the way that we grow is through being uncomfortable. On anything, like the way that you've gotten better in every single thing. The first time someone plays a violin is uncomfortable, but stick to it. Whether it's our parents making us, actually our parents, you don't have an option to not be comfortable. You're playing a damn violin, or whatever. And so but then next thing you know, we love violin because someone pushed us past our comfort zone. So I kind of want to lean in there, right? Somehow. But, kind of figure out what that looks like.
I think 8 weeks. Because if we're looking at 6 to 8 weeks, it's a month and a half. I think 6 to 8 weeks is fair. Is that are you thinking 6 to 8 weeks start and then end, or is there chapters?
100%. Stages, phases, seasons.
Interesting.
All those things. The way that because then the next segment of time would be going deeper. So if we were to think it from just like I had this idea of this playing card game where if you're in person, you pull a card and ask the green level, the yellow level, the red level, kind of based on what level of depth you want to go to lead the conversation. When it's kind of surface level stuff to medium stuff to deeper stuff. And a lot of the first 8 weeks is going to be probably green level, yellow level, right? If you're kind of thinking through that. But also, you're specifically looking at things about your spiritual gifting and some of the stuff that came up in your assessment. So there's other stuff there. But I also think that, to your point earlier, you came in with expectations, and I think that's a really important part of it. To really help someone understand what they want to get out of it is going to measure their level of engagement. And kind of, so I do think that there's some orientation process, right? That says, hey, here's where your assessment read, and these are things that are coming up that you're wanting to go deeper on. And these are, and so some more front loaded help to kind of grease the wheels to get people through it is the goal. At least more resources to start, and then resources in later phases are to, when life starts lifing, when life gets complicated, here's some resources to walk through in a space of grieving or in a space of whatever. So continuously trying to resource people to connect better through the hard things, right? And to be in relationship and community. No, man, I think that's great. I'm gonna let you get out of here because I know you got to be up early tomorrow, but I just really, really appreciate you. I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate this time. It's been great for me, and I've learned so much. We'll be in conversation about faith and relationship and girls, and the next thing you know, I'm writing on the dry erase board, and and then I'm sending you that crazy drawing to right, and like this is the intake flow for the app, and it's just been good, man. It's I really have appreciated that.
I love that.
One last trick question.
I knew it was coming.
Did you?
No.
Like, how do you think that your faith journey has developed
During this time?
in this time? Yeah. There's no wrong answer, and I'm not going to be offended no matter why.
Yeah. One thing that I had in my mind. Oh yeah. What do you mean? Anyways. One thing that I had in my mind as I was like when I came back to service at Soul City and then saw the thing for Alpha and it was like, oh, maybe I should attend Alpha. At that point, I was and still am in a place of trying to be intentional about, okay, I don't know how to grow this faith thing or take steps towards this faith thing, but you know what? I'm going to identify some things and I'm just going to start acting. And I think I had told myself when I started that, I'm like, it's going to be hard to measure success with this.
Sure.
But like everything else, like when I was boxing too, right? Like when I started and I was training my jab, I was like, okay, I'm start jabbing. And there was a point where I'm like, oh, I think I figured it out. And then for the next like 2-3 months, it completely fell apart. I'm like, I have this completely wrong. I don't know what I'm doing at all. And then it was another like several months of, okay, let me keep, but I kept trying it. And I remember it was just a day I was like, oh, that's it. Like I know how to do this, but there was never a moment where I saw like, okay, boom, yeah, this is level 1. Okay, now I'm at level 2.
Sure.
Now I'm at level 3.
Right.
I'm going to level 10. So now I see the exact progress.
Right.
And I think through experiences like that, even with drumming too, like there's been several experiences like where over and over again, I've seen the pattern of it's not never, depending on what you're doing, it's hard to see concrete progress in, okay, this is now I'm here. Now I can see me growing.
Yeah.
But the only thing that you can be sure about is the effort that you're putting in and trusting that effort is producing results, even if it's like small results that you can't measure and you can't see. Yeah, something is happening. Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's kind of what I come here with. Right. Yeah. Like when we have conversations, most of the time we're not like opening the Bible. Let's discuss Matthew chapter 3, verse. You know, we're not doing any of that. Right. But we're having conversations that tangentially touch things. Absolutely. And for me, I feel like that's kind of what I'm looking for, right? Yeah. Like we'll talk about things that it'll just like, for example, right? There, you were talking about what were you saying? There was something that we talked about that made me remember something there was a noticeable change in my behavior recently. Oh, sure. Right? Like for those that might be listening and don't know kind of where I was at and where I am, I grew up in a Christian household. Like I've been Christian my whole life. Yeah. But it's just in the past couple of years that I've kind of been struggling with certain things, and I feel like I've kind of gone through some restructuring and having to kind of rebuild what my Christianity looks like. Yeah. So there are aspects of the old Christianity for me that I do remember and I do kind of value because I saw value in them. Yeah. One of them being, what it is being present. Yeah. Right. That we were talking about is in like just being aware of your surroundings and noticing people and noticing situations and allowing yourself to be present there with that situation and not being in a rush. I have this other thing that I got to do and I'm busy, blah, blah. Right. And I remember back then that used to be a big value for me, right? I used to slow down. I used to be that guy that I would be driving on the road and I would be paying attention. Be like, oh, if I see a car that's stopped, my first thing, because you're moving, especially if you're on the highway, you're moving so fast. Yep. By the time you even think of, oh, should I stop? You're already way past them. Yeah. How is this going to work? Yeah. So I'm paying attention. I'm like, if something were to happen, what's going to be your reaction?
Yeah.
So I'm already prepping myself for like situations like you
Yeah,
say when you were
to
alpha
respond.
to
Yeah.
respond, right? You're like, okay, if this right away, first thing I do is I pull over. If I see that, okay, maybe it's not that serious, they probably got it, then I move on, or just even stop and ask, what's up?
Yeah.
Right. And that used to be somewhere that I used to be before.
Yeah.
That when I kind of stepped back from everything, I feel like everything kind of just got thrown out, right? I wasn't paying attention anymore. I was just kind of like, I'm doing me right now, which I feel like I needed to do for that time. I was like, look, I just need to do me for now.
Yeah.
But then now coming back to this, one of the things that I noticed about myself right away was like, man, dude, you don't even really pay attention that much anymore. You've kind of become this person where you just kind of do your own thing. You just boom, boom, you're just going.
Sure. And
so I've noticed myself being more intentional about, okay, little things, right? It doesn't have to be huge, gigantic, wow, I can't believe, right? Like just noticing people, noticing someone's expression, like, hey, you all right?
Yeah.
Not being afraid of that extra conversation that's going to happen, that's going to hold you up for a little bit longer than you intended. It's like, oh, now I got to listen to this person or whatever. But just letting yourself be in those situations, like slow down,
like the guy yesterday at church.
Yeah. Have that conversation.
Yep. And you did. I saw you 20 minutes later, like walking down the street with him.
Let it happen.
Yeah.
So I've noticed myself going back to that and rebuilding that muscle.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. You do need to, because that might not be directly like tied to what you think of as having faith and being Christian and preaching the word or whatever it is that you think being a Christian is supposed to be.
Right.
But it's changing. It's taking you back to something that you valued.
Yeah.
Right. Which is what I want. I don't want to go back to that Christianity, but there are principles and aspects there that I valued a lot that I want to bring back with me and use to rebuild whatever this is going to be.
Yeah.
So that was something that I feel like has been like the point that I was getting at with that convoluted story was, for me, it's those little things.
Yeah.
That I feel like, even though I might not be able to quantify, like, oh, last week me and Joel talked about prayer, and since then my prayer life is improved.
Right, bro. And this is the struggle with what I'm doing right now too. Is there's how do I put metrics on this? I don't even want to put metrics on this. I want people to have more value of relationships over religion. Right. And allow the principles of Christianity to actually come out in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I like that, and you can't measure that.
Yeah.
And so it's hard, right? Starting a company and God's first product to market is like, it's free. You're like, like do this for free. And that's difficult, but I get it too. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. It's like sense, it makes sense, bro. It doesn't make CENTS. Exactly right. It doesn't, but it makes all the sense in the world because it really is more about relationship. But the craziest full circle part is that I started that journey in religion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I started where I ended up now, I think is more relationship focused.
Sure.
Because that's what I feel I have with God. And so it's that like relationship, that like seenness, that worthiness that I feel, that identity that I feel. Like gosh, man, if we could share that with each other, the world would completely change, bro. If everybody just got what you just said, not to measure anything else, nothing else, no other measure matters. But if just imagine everybody slowed down just like that. And it doesn't even have to be all the other things that we could bring back over from religion. It's just, they stopped, they slowed down and saw each other. The whole world would look different, bro. It would literally be possible to eradicate isolation because we'd see each other. You know what I'm saying? And it's so simple. It's an only God thought.
The world just moves so fast.
It just moves so fast, bro.
It really does take a very like it takes deep intentionality to really like this. Okay, I'm gonna slow down because it's not gonna.
Yeah.
Everything is pushing you to just go, go, go.
That's right.
You have so much to do. You have bills to pay.
Yeah.
You have your problems to worry about. You don't have time.
Right.
And you can't afford to do this.
Right.
Right. And yeah, it takes it. And it takes, I guess, knowing in a way that it's gonna pay off. Right.
Sure.
That it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's honestly, bro, like I don't like, so I don't have like a right answer there. And it's a trick question because it's a trick to me too. Like I didn't write, I wrote down some of these questions. I did not anticipate even thinking about that one, but that one to me is like a non-quantifiable, ultimately important answer that you gave. Like it's worth it for me to spend the rest of my life doing this to get that answer. Honestly,
are we gonna be here tackling complications, or are we just here for the hangs?
Yeah.
And if we're here for the hangs, how's that gonna work?
Right.
What's gonna be the how are we gonna measure that? Right?
Yeah.
What's gonna be the metric for, okay, we were just here for the hangs, but then what happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
And maybe it's okay.
Yeah.
You know. Maybe
well,
it's okay.
I have this crazy theory that if and when this starts happening and it becomes cool to connect again, because the world has been pulling us apart in so many, it's like Velcro, just pulling us apart at the seams for so many years between social media and the pandemic, that when it becomes cool to connect again, then you're going to see like kids, like people looking out for the kid running through the aisles in the store again. It's like, oh, like me and Baird were walking through the store the other day, and me and him both saw this kid
was,
like
from his mom.
Ran off into the aisle, and me and him both stopped and looked for the mom.
Yeah.
And then we walked, we kind of just made sure we saw that little boy make it back to his mom.
Yeah.
And that right there, bro, is like, that's what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what community looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the world becomes better when we're looking out for each other.
Yeah.
And we're doing it together.
Fair.
According to scripture, so it can't be wrong. So I can't be on the wrong track. I can't be barking up the wrong tree. Because it wasn't my idea in the first place. So thank you so much for this time, man. Thank you so much for this. I really do appreciate this. I could not have asked for something better to come. I had no expectation of this. I literally wrote these questions 5 minutes before you walked in the door. I'm dead serious. Had you gotten here at exactly 7:00, the questions wouldn't have been written.
No
I'm dead serious, bro. Everything was like, I was just like sitting here and I was like, I wonder if we should do this. So thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. And I cannot wait to see what God does with this whole thing. Yeah. And you were here day one. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. Love to be a part of it.
All right, man. Any final words for the listeners?
Share. That's it.
That's it. I agree. All right. And he doesn't get paid.
Yet.
He's not on payroll either.
Yet.
But none of us are. All right. God, we need money. All right. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. I'll talk to you later, bro.